Alright guys, this is my first time trying to do this, so bear with me. We'll see how this works out. We are done with all of the convex lens diagrams. So we have done all 1 through 6 of the convex lens ray diagrams, which means we are now going to move on to the concave lens diagram. So it's the same idea, but instead of doing rays traveling through the lens, we're going to have rays bouncing off of the mirror because it's reflection. So a little review real quick. You should all really know the basics of setting this up. So we're still going to do the same thing. We're still going to cut the paper in half. We're still going to draw our principal axis in. We're still going to label it. And for the most part, the light rays are going to do something very, very similar. But what is going to be different is we're no longer going to draw a lens, we're actually going to draw a mirror. So there's convex lens beyond 2F, there's convex lens at 2F. On the back of that we had convex lens between 2F and F, and then we had convex lens at F. And then we went to a separate sheet of paper, and on that separate sheet of paper we did object lens at infinity, and then we did object lens at inside F. So altogether we did 6 of the convex lens. So on the back of this sheet we are going to now flip over, because we are definitely going to conserve paper, and again you're going to go through the same steps. So first things first, we're going to cut the paper in half. So 5 big boxes down, drawing it across. Fantastic. Alright, you also need your principal axis, so we're going to go ahead and draw our principal axis in. Alright, and we're going to label what this is. So this is the concave mirror beyond 2F. Okay, so we've got it labeled, we've got it in there, and now this is the big difference between a mirror and the lens. So we still have to put in our mirror somewhere, and so what our mirror is going to be is it's going to be the protractor. That's going to be our mirror, right? So we're going to take our axis on our protractor and we're going to line it up with the principal axis on the page. And by the way, I didn't label that, so we're going to go ahead and put that in. There it is. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to count over 4 big boxes from the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to line up our crosshairs right on top of that. Alright, so what this gives us is we're going to draw around, but we're only going to draw around half of the protractor. So we're going to do that. Now don't lose that spot, because there's a couple things we're going to do with it. So the exact middle of that circle is not going to become what we call the center of our curved mirror. So we're going to put a dot there. We're going to label it as C. Now the thing about this C is also known as 2F. It's also our 2 focal. So if that's our 2 focal, we also know what focal is. So if 2 focal is 10 boxes from the edge of the mirror, that means that focal is going to be 5 boxes from the edge of the mirror. So we still have F and 2F, alright? And if you really want to know, you still have it on the back side too. You still have F back here on the back side of the mirror. Great. Alright? So we're the only thing that has changed is we're no longer doing the little bubbles, and we don't have a midline for our lens. What we're doing is we're putting in a concave mirror here. And things, so that we know that's a concave mirror, what we do is we kind of put the shadowing on the back side of the mirror so that we know this is a mirror. And you can get as detailed as you want in that, so I just do a little shading there just to show it. Okay? So we have our F, we have our 2F, and this makes it really easy if we're going to go beyond 2F. So to go beyond 2F, literally we're going to choose anywhere behind 2F that we want to. So we're going to choose 5 boxes to the left of 2F. So I'm going to do 5 small boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, I'm going to draw my object, and this time the object, just like it always has been, is going to be 3 boxes high. So there's my object. label it with an O, and we are good to go. Okay. Now let's recap a little bit about what our 3 lines were. So line number 1, right? They're going to follow the same kind of pattern. Line number 1 on the lenses started off parallel and then went through the focal. Line number 2 on the lens went through the focal and then bounced back parallel on the other side of the lens. And then line 3 was very basic. It was a straight line through the center. All right. We have the same idea. We're going to do the same thing, all right? But it's going to be with the lens instead. So we're going to take our straight edge, and again, it's going to start at the top of the object. So we're going to go to the top of the object, and line number 1 is going to do the same thing. It's going to start off by going parallel. So going parallel to the principal axis, I'm going to draw a straight line in until it hits the mirror, right? So we all know that this ray is not going to go through the mirror, right? Mirrors, what they do is they bounce off. So instead of going through on this other side, what we're going to do is it's going to bounce off and it's going to come through the focus. So we're going to take it and he's going to bounce through the focus, and that's going to be our first line. So it's still following the same pattern. You're still doing parallel then focal. The thing is he's not refracting, now he is reflecting. So he's just bouncing off of it. All right, so that's line number 1. Nothing new there. We go to line number 2. Same idea. All right, so we're going to use the focal to start off with, but then as soon as he goes through there and he hits the mirror, he's going to bounce off. So we go from the top of the object through the focal until it touches the mirror, and then as soon as it touches the mirror, right, we're not going to pass through it. He's going to bounce off of it, and the way that he's going to bounce off of it, he's going to bounce off parallel to the principal axis. Fantastic, and we can already start to see it starting to cross somewhere, so that's always a good thing. All right, and then we have line number 3. And line number 3 originally on the lenses was just a straight line straight through the center of the lens. Well, we don't have a center of a lens here, so what we're going to do is we're going to use our angle in, angle out theory. And it becomes very basic because what we're going to do is we're going to use what they call the center of the lens right here. So right where the principal axis and the mirror cross each other, right? We're going to send one ray straight towards that. Right? So that's the starting point. But what we know is if the law of reflection states, it's very basic, is